Hi, I'm Carissa, and this is my story. This is a new relationship with me and the dad. So we'd only been together like 6 months before I found out I got pregnant. I had just left the same job that I've been with for a really long time. A lot of things were like kind of up in the air. So people always say like, oh, you never know if it's the right time. It was like probably the worst time for me. um, but it was the best thing in the end. And it kind of made everything come together more. I was in a really bad place, mentally, emotionally. I mean, it's an emotional time right there, especially when you first, find out that you are pregnant. Mario is my fourth baby, and I have three others. And I was with their father. He was my high school sweetheart, and he took his life 2 years ago. So I was really going through a lot. And Anthony, dad, he helped me through so much. So having that, if he hadn't had the reaction he had, if I didn't have that support, honestly, I don't know. I just know that that was the worst. That would have been the worst thing to happen. Having that, just even if he wasn't sure in himself, like even if he had doubts inside himself, him not showing me that and just making me believe that he was so on board and so ready to be there and make everything okay for me and for the baby, and it made night and day difference. If he had reacted otherwise, I don't know if I would have been able to handle it. Thinking that I may have had to go through it alone. Everyone just kept saying, "Oh, you have to go to a hospital, like a type of clinic," and all I could think was, that's like kind of like a conveyor belt. Like it's not like a personal care. It's kind of like, you're in a waiting room with 30 people. Like there's no personal care. There's no personal touch to that. And I didn't want to lack that, especially in the beginning, because I think that's the most important time. So much is happening and you're finding, you just found out you're pregnant. So much is going on. I think to have there to be no kind of emotion behind the person who does your ultrasound or the doctor that you talk to or whatever it may be. I think it's important for it to feel personal and to feel more intimate than just, your name on a clipboard. And yeah, exactly. It's just, you don't want to feel like you're just a number on a clipboard and someone's coming out and, they don't know who you are. It only heard amazing things about solutions, and I just needed to know that I was going to go somewhere that no matter what, I think places like this that are more, even if it isn't your faith or whatever, places that are rooted in faith, they know how important it is, especially in this type of situation, to show you the more positive side of things. And even if, even if you're not thinking about, God forbid, termination, and you go to a regular doctor and they talk to you about, oh, okay, you want to carry, and then at the end they say, just in case you change your mind, and they give you a pamphlet or something about termination, that can really mess somebody up. So I think because of, I was in a bad place, I think, before that, knowing that I was coming somewhere faith-based, it made me feel good to know that I'm not going to have any judgment, first and foremost, and I was going to have that type of support that can only really come from a place that's faith-based. People look at me like, you can do this no matter what your situation is. It's never the right time to bring a life into the world for anybody. I think it's easy to get caught up in all the material things and, what is my family going to think, or whatever. I'm not married. I'm not that, it's easy to look negative, to look at all the negative things. I think it's too easy to look at the negative things, and forget about all the positive things. And when you go to solutions, they help remind you of all those positive things. I think it's so important that you have someone, especially if you are going to be going through it, alone, or you are doubting anything. I myself was worried about my family and how they were going to react. But now that once that baby's here, no one thinks about that. You might go through a conversation you didn't want to have with someone over it, but you forget about it so quickly, and so do they, especially when that baby's here. Nobody cares about if they had an extra $1,000 in their bank account. Nobody cares if they, they had a bigger car for the car seat. You don't even think about those things. You don't even remember what you were worried about. And I think anyone, especially that's in a situation that maybe their partner isn't supportive or isn't there, I think it's so important to have a place like this. It's so important. I think it's super important that people know there is a place like this. It's night and day difference. It really is. Thank you to those of you who make solutions possible and make it possible for women like me to come and get the support and help that they need.